Yes, people. It is Friday. It is Adidas Friday as well. We're back. 10-year deal has landed with Adidas. Liverpool back together again. I think it was a relationship everybody wanted. But I am your boy Errol. I am hosting the Red Cartel tonight here on Red Men 2, and I have got with me another banging panel. And there's a lot to unpack. It's like we try and do these shows and keep them to an hour, but I'm not even sure if that's going to be possible on a night like this. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of breaking news this afternoon in relation to the Alexander Isak stuff, and we will dive into that shortly. But of course, we have got with us Tom Little, obviously repping it for Liverpool. We've got Sheik in the building again, big Manchester United fan from overseas, United States. We've got Dan United back in the building. We've got halftime hooks, and we've got man like Dan Potts back in the building as well, fresh off his holidays. I think everybody's had a little bit of a summer getaway the last couple of weeks as well, boys. So it's all good to have you back. Good to have you back on the show. First of all, lads, the title of the show this week is Unfinished Business because Arsenal played Tottenham earlier in the week and didn't look overly convincing. We'll touch on your thoughts on that. Manchester United had a good result, but again, are still probably short in a few priority areas. And Liverpool are still in the hunt for a new striker. So before we kind of get into it, lads, how are you all feeling and what are your thoughts on this latest Alexander Isak bomber that has dropped this afternoon? Liverpool have had a bid of £110 million rejected by Newcastle, and Liverpool apparently are not prepared to go back in with another bid. I'll leave Tom to last and let's kind of get some of the thoughts from, the rivals, the lads that are from the outside looking in, and I'll open it up. Anybody that wants to go, just jump straight in and let's get it rolling, boys.
Firstly, it's very clear that Liverpool found all of the money that Pablo Escobar was stashing away and planting in Colombia, because the fact that you, man, can just come out and say, yo, by the way, we're willing to pay 80 million up front, 50 million next year with the add-ons of 140 million in total is crazy. Off of all the business that you've done already, but I don't know. I think you man are gonna.
Is it crazy? Is it actually crazy, or is it just that we are well structured and well run, and we have the financial liquidity to be able to make these?
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, obviously, it's sick that you're doing it. Like, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, you're probably like pretty much, I guess, similar in a sense to me, where it's like, yeah, man, I was just waiting for when my club was gonna splash on players in a transfer window. So it's overdue from a Liverpool perspective, and I mean, you're probably super gassed, like, oh, we just won the league, and now we're making all of these statement signings. So it's very clear that we want to go and win the league again, and maybe even more. So from that aspect, it must be very pleasing as a Liverpool fan. And I don't know. I just think this deal, it probably hinges on, can Newcastle secure someone that could not replace Isak, but they're going to need a striker. Manchester United is making this Isak deal very difficult for you, man, because they're going for Sesko, who I'm sure Newcastle would have wanted as one of the replacements. So I don't know. I wouldn't be worried as a Liverpool fan. I think that news that came out, it's probably just Liverpool trying to strong arm or whatever and say, look, we're not going to bid again until we 100% know that we can grab him. So they're probably just waiting for Newcastle to sort out the admin stuff, sort out what they got to do. And then I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't even be surprised if this was a deadline day deal. Isak to Liverpool, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a deadline deal at the very last moment.
When was the last time we had a deadline day deal of that magnitude, though, boys? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute.
I remember Berbatov for United years ago with Spurs. That was literally that was deadline day, wasn't it? That was like midnight done.
Newcastle have messed this up big time, man. They've had an absolute shocker.
Good.
Let's just say how it is, man. They've had an absolute shocker. I like Newcastle. I've got nothing against Newcastle at all, and I like the fact that they've tried to, but keep himself up with the big boys with this. But they've had an absolutely shockingly bad few weeks, man. And I'm not just talking about the Isak situation, by the way, because when they're getting a Burnley goalkeeper reject them, they can't get, Wolves player or a Brentford player. They can't get a bloody Brentford striker now. It's like, what's actually happening here? A Newcastle, big club, because on the one hand, they're crying that Arsenal and Liverpool want Isak, and why would you dare come to our club because we're up there with the big boys now, and they can't get these players over the line. Now, that's not supposed to be a huge dig at the Newcastle fans, but as a whole, I quite like their fan base. But this whole Isak thing, I've met some really nasty Newcastle fans that have come in my chat room. Let me tell you that. Just because I dared to compliment their striker. And now, guess what, Errol? You guys are getting it. They don't like up there. Arsenal are fine. Arsenal are fine. They got Gyökeres. They're good. Oh, Gyökeres will be brilliant. Gyökeres will be a fantastic striker for Arsenal. You Liverpool scum, you want Isak, and they're coming for you guys now. And it's like, wow, get used to this. Yes. Get used to it. Well, listen, It's not just toys out the pram, Dan, because what it is it shows naivety that they are not used to being at the top. Because I had this with Fabregas, I had this with Van Persie, I had this with Mesut Ozil, with Alexis Sanchez, and granted, most of them left in the end, but get used to it. When your players do well and you don't win trophies, guess what happens? They go elsewhere and win trophies. And that's what Isak's going to do. And granted, they won the Carabao Cup, but look at what Liverpool have done in the last 5-6 years, man.
I mean, but they won a trophy.
Yeah. I know, but I think
they won a trophy. They won a trophy. I thought winning trophies was the most important, biggest thing in the whole of football. So
you got to compete alongside that, though, innit?
Why Isak wants to leave, because Newcastle just won a trophy. So I think this puts that whole narrative to bed. Like,
no, but it don't, Hooks. Do you know why it don't? Because they got to win trophies and be competitive in the league. And Newcastle ain't been competitive in the league. They're just winning a trophy for the first time in 70 years.
Wait, they came top 4, no?
Huh?
Am I crazy? They came top 4.
They came fifth. They got Champions League fifth. Yeah.
Also, they got Champions League football through the league as well. Hey, that's competitive. Nobody competed in the league last season. It was only Liverpool. So, I mean,
and that's the club we want to join.
I'm just saying, innit? Like, so you get me. So all them man that was telling me, yeah, I'd rather finish 17th and win a trophy. Yeah, hold that, because it seems like Isak don't care about all of that nonsense, innit? He just wants to play for a big club, and more power to him. Because do you know what? Do you know what I think it actually is? I think the only real reason that, well, not only, there's probably several, but I think one of the biggest reasons is he knows it's a World Cup year, and he knows that Gyökeres playing for Arsenal is going to stand out so much more to the Swedish national team than him playing for Newcastle. So he's like, okay, cool, I need to think about the World Cup year and obviously accolades and stuff like that. Let me go Liverpool. I literally think that's what it is. He just wants to...
That's a good shout, you know. I didn't even think of that. That's a good shout, you know.
The problem with that is Sweden played two up top, so he was going to play anyway. They play one of them like 3-5-2s where it's like 3 midfield and then 2 up top. So I
hear it.
It's one of them ones where like he plays for a nation where like even if he didn't play much this year, like he kept throwing his toys out the pram, he'd still end up getting picked to go to that World Cup. It's not like he's playing for a nation where if he throws a strop,
it's France. It's not France.
It's not France. It's not like a Germany or whatever. This is a nation who, in reality, they're gonna take Isak whether he's played 5 games or 50 games because it's Alexander Isak and he's up there with the best strikers they've got. So,
Hooks, you still want Gyökeres over Isak, yeah?
Yes, I am the only Arsenal fan on the internet that nobody can come for when Liverpool signed Isak, because I made it very clear from before the transfer window even opened, from last year, the year before that, Gyökeres is my number 1 target. I don't care about no Isak. You get me? I would have taken Isak with Gyökeres because there's a nice little spot on the left wing that we need solving, that we need to solve pretty quickly. But I never wanted Isak over Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres is the better striker. I think Isak is the better overall player, overall footballer. But when it comes to number 9, yeah, ball in the back of the net, traditional, all of that stuff, I think Gyökeres clears him with ease. We see that in European level. We see that at league level. Men are going to say, oh, it was the Portuguese league. But when Isak was in a lesser league, he was putting nowhere near the same numbers as Gyökeres. And then we see at international level. Like Gyökeres has played like 30 less games than Isak. He's only 1 goal behind him. So, you know what I mean? I'm happy. Hey, I want my fellow Red Cartel man them to be happy as well. Yeah. So go and get your Isak, be happy, all of that. You
I've
know,
been chilling. I've been chilling
Yeah.
until we entered this Saga situation. I've been chilling the whole transfer window. I think we've done some good business. But like the title of the show says, there is unfinished business, and I think the unfinished business is across the board. I don't think Arsenal are the complete package yet. I don't think Manchester United are anywhere near being a complete package. And obviously, due to some circumstances outside of our control and the outgoings that Liverpool have now been prepared to do, Liverpool aren't the complete package anymore. So it will be interesting. Sheik, what's your kind of view? Again, coming overseas, looking at it from the outside, looking in. Do you think that there will be a deal struck still? Do you think there's a middle ground in there? Or do you think Liverpool should just kind of make their bed now and say, right, we've put the bid in and we're not going to get him and we'll move on to another target?
Yeah, I mean, as a United fan, of course, I would want you to just not put that second bid and just not try to get Isak, of course. But realistically, I do want to say, like, I agree with some of the things that were said. Like, Newcastle have been absolutely ripped apart this transfer window by just Liverpool. The way that you guys have bullied them. First, you go after their first striker replacement that they were looking to get, Ekitike, you sign him, and now you're looking to get their current striker. And it just looks like they're not able to sign anyone else currently at this moment, too. The way that they've prepared for a situation like this, or if they've prepared for a situation like this, because how can you not? You have a player like Isak, who's regarded one of the world's best strikers. You know there's going to be a situation one day where the player is going to be unsettled, or he's going to want to have to take a move. And if the Newcastle a couple of years ago, since that takeover, were supposed to be this big club who were supposed to start competing now, I would think they would be a lot more prepared than this. Currently, they have no other striker through the door. Sesko, like we said, is linked to my club, and it looks like we are prioritizing him as a move too. So I'm not sure whether Sesko would move to us, but it's another striker that could have been that goes missing for them that they don't get. And then what do they do from there? Do they just revert to someone like a Wissa from Brentford in the league, but then to replace Isak with a striker like Wissa who is good? But you would think that you would try to get someone like a profile of the Ekitike or someone like a Delap. But yeah, like I think Liverpool, it all depends on Isak to me, to be honest. If he continues this thing of not showing up to training and just tries to force his way out and it gets ugly to a certain extent, I think Liverpool ends up getting the deal done. But yeah, I hope you guys don't put in a second bid, of course.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Alan, thank you very much for joining us. Big up yourself, bro. Hope you're all good. You're probably just catching up. We're just trying to unpack this Isak saga at this particular moment in time. From an Arsenal perspective, you're looking at it now, Newcastle. Do you think once a player is kind of dug the heels in, they've not reported to preseason training, they've kind of made it clear without really directly saying, I want to put a transfer request in. Do you think it's in the best interest for Newcastle now to accept that they need to sell him for the right amount of money?
Yeah. Firstly, man, big up. Thank you very much for having me on. Secondly, if you hear a storm coming through the door, it'll be my kids because they don't know I'm live. So I do apologise for that.
It's all good, lads. Good.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. So if you hear the chaos, I'll mute as quick as I can. But big up, man. I hope all the boys are well as well. Yeah, look, listen, it's player power, isn't it? It's been player power for a very, very, very long time. If Isak wants a move, he's going to get it. It just all depends on the thing he wants to kick up because ultimately, as that Premier League season draws a little bit closer, Newcastle are going to want to get replacement because they don't want a player that don't want to play with them. So if he does start throwing toys at the pram, having a little hissy fit, he's going to get that move. It's going to come a point where Newcastle are going to go, all right, well, it's 18th of August now. It's time to either stick or twist. And I just think once they want to move, they're going to go, aren't they? How often do you really sort of see in transfer sagas, if you want to call it that, where a player wants to leave, and especially for a bigger club as Liverpool are, one of the biggest in the world, of course, he's going to want to take that next step. Obviously, wages as well. He's going to probably double them. He's going to get the move, isn't he? I mean, I'll be very, very, very shocked. To be fair as well, I think Newcastle are a little bit to blame in it, and I'll tell you for why. I think it's a little bit poor planning on their behalf, as in contingency plan. I think for them not to have a striker either lined up for this season or even in the last couple of seasons, and probably being a little bit naive and expecting that Isak's probably going to stay there beyond. I think once they sort of started seeing him knocking in goals for fun over 2 consecutive seasons in the Premier League, the big boys are coming for you. That's just an absolute fact. Whether that's Liverpool in the Premier League or whether it's abroad, As soon as you start knocking in goals for fun in the Premier League, you're a target for top clubs. And for Newcastle, really, all right, it's easier said than done. Who wants to come in and back up Isak? But, you know, look at Liverpool. Yeah, if you get him over the line, Ekatike, it can be done. So it's probably a little bit easier lower down that pecking order for Newcastle to do it. I just think they've left themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. The only thing I do give Newcastle, or that gives rather Newcastle, that little bit extra power is that if he had 2 years left on his deal now, I've said this all summer, if he had 2 years left on this, it'd have been gone already, because there's significant transfer reductions from 2 years to 1 year left on your deal. Whereas at least now with 3, which he has at the minute, if they did want to dig their heels in, you know, and keep him, the transfer value for him, unless obviously severe injury or a drop off in form, doesn't really drop from 3 to 2. But yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. I've been following it all day, to be fair, only lightly, in and out. And yeah, some people saying you're not going back in for him. Some people saying you are. I don't know.
Well, that's it. We're getting stories from all over. I think local outlets from Liverpool's ends are reporting one version of events. I'm one of them. Like, there's always their version, your version, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle of the two. And I think Newcastle camp are making noises now to make out that Liverpool have strung them along. Dan United, do you think Liverpool have strung Alexander Isak along this summer? Or do you genuinely believe, no, he's been their number one priority target and it was always going to be about getting the right price across to Newcastle for them to want to sell up?
I think it's just embarrassing on Newcastle's point. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say it exactly how it is. Like, I had to listen to Newcastle fans for the last 18 months saying, get this summer and we're going to be the big boys. We're going to get to the table. No one's ready for what we're about to do. Like, this isn't 10 years ago when someone could buy a club and just go out there and spend the money like City did, like Chelsea did. It doesn't work like that anymore. And I think they've just come into this with such naivety. And Potts will know from 12th Man, we got Pete on there who says, nah, Isak doesn't want to go. He's not going anywhere. He's got Champions League. That's done. It doesn't work like that. To be a big club, you've got to have the big reputation and you've got to be able to run it the right way. This is going to be done. Like, there is no way that Liverpool go in, put a bid in for that much money and then go, you know what, we'll leave it. There's no chance. They've done the right thing. And whether it's the right thing ethically now, it's the way football is. They've put the bid in. He knows for certain now that they want him. It's going to happen. Newcastle fans who say, well, we don't need to sell him. That is, unfortunately, I'll say this, that's a small club mentality. That's chucking your toys at the pram and saying, well, we don't need to sell him and we'll keep him here if we have to. Football doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't work like that. If a player wants to go, he will go. I think it was also with the Vissa deal when they went in there, they were very naive with that offer as well. You know, Brentford, who had just sold Brian to us, for them to go in lowballing, like they've moaned about Liverpool lowballing the offer for them. They went in and lowballed. They got rejected. This whole transfer planning that they've put in place has just fallen flat on its face. And what they're doing is they're going to end up being the next Manchester United in the sense of they will have to then overspend, offer players as much money as they can to bring them in. We already hear reports with Sesko that they are willing to match and better whatever United offer. That's not the way you do transfers. So I think it's been coming, and like they've got all of the good feeling about the club, and they should actually be on a wave of emotion, a high emotion at the moment. They've just won the cup for the first time for so long. They're back in the Champions League, but if you don't run your business right in the background, it doesn't make a difference. You're still going to be in the same situation. So I fully expect, I don't know who it was said off screen, I think this could be like, it will run on, but Isak, make no mistake about it, will be wearing a Liverpool shirt before the end of the transfer window. It's done.
Yeah, well, this is, one of the things that I said really is, as the size, and again, no disrespect to Newcastle, but as the size of the club that they haven't only got one gem. I think if we asked collectively amongst this panel, who else would you take from that Newcastle team to drop into your starting 11? There'd probably still be another 2 or 3 candidates for that. My thing is, what kind of message?
Only 2 or 3 of the United fans.
Yeah, well, I'm being kind. You know what I mean? But ultimately, in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, what kind of message does that send to your other players that are playing for your club now that want to make that next jump up? Are you going to make it difficult for them to leave as well? Because they'll get very disgruntled very quick. You're not showing that there's a pathway. If I perform and I'm consistent and I have 2 good seasons with you, I should be able to get the move elsewhere. That should be part and parcel of the agreement of playing for a club the size of Newcastle in the Premier League that may compete for a big trophy once every 5 or 10 years if we're lucky. But if we want to compete for trophies every single season, we have to be at a Liverpool, a City, an Arsenal, a Chelsea, a Real Madrid, a Bayern. That's where we need to go. You're supposed to be the feeder, not necessarily a feeder club, because I think that's a bit of a disingenuous term, but you're supposed to allow a pathway for me to be able to go and achieve that at the highest level. Tom, you've heard the thoughts of, you know, our rivals, our nearest and dearest rivals there.
Mm-hmm.
What is your take on all of this at this particular moment in time? And if you had to kind of label a percentage on it, how confident are you at this moment that Liverpool will have Alexander Isak as their new striker? Can't even say number 9 right now.
I think this has just been one long, drawn-out thing of both sides trying to play the PR game and come out like they're the winners of it. Ultimately, for us, he's our dream target. And I know how we act with dream targets. We wouldn't just put one bid in massively under his value and go, oh, fuck, that's it. No more. We can't do any more. If he's a dream target at the level of what Van Dijk and Alisson were, we will pay what they want. I just think that we've tried to rush it a little bit now, and they haven't got the replacement in, so they went, no, we're not doing anything whilst we only have William Masula in the football club. So ultimately, what I think happens is within the next week, hopefully, it might take a little bit longer, Newcastle get Visser over the line and advance on whoever they're going to go for as their 7th choice striker. Maybe it's Ollie Watkins, who knows. Once that happens, I think at that point, Isak hands in a formal transfer request and refuses to go to training. And then Newcastle have all what they want to go, look, we sold him for 150. He was being detrimental to the football club. He wouldn't turn up to training. He was a bad apple. We got as much money as we could. We got our replacements in before we could start getting fleeced on the market because everyone knew that we had 150 million to spend. We've come out really well on that. And we'll sit there. We won't say anything, but we'll know that we got the guy that we wanted. It's what happens sometimes. Look,
Tom, would you rather get the guy and everything goes plain sailing, play ball, or do you care that he's kicked off and he's now gone AWOL and doesn't want to do it? Does it bother you attitude wise, or are you quite just get the player? I couldn't give a shit.
It doesn't bother me attitude wise because it swings in both ways, doesn't it? It bothered me attitude wise if it was a Liverpool player, but because he wants to join Liverpool, I see it as a positive.
Yeah.
I just want him in. I'm sick of sagas. I'm sick to death of these sagas.
Is he worth it though? Is he? Because I don't think Liverpool get embroiled in these sagas very often. Is he? When you say he's your dream dog, is he worth the headache if you get him over the line in that instance?
I think he is. I think you can't underestimate how important. The reason strikers are so expensive and they get paid the most money is because they have the hardest job in football, arguably, and it's putting the ball in the back of the net. And Liverpool Football Club last season won the league, but they won the league arguably in spite of their striking options, because I think the most we got was 6 from a striker. But both striking options that we had last season
underperformed.
Yeah, the numbers weren't there. If you're getting Alexander Isak, a guy who's regularly now getting 20 plus goals in the Premier League for a Newcastle side, if I'm putting him into a team that last season won the league, has the best creator undoubtedly in the Premier League now, Mohamed Salah, one of the best creators in Florian Wirtz, into a team that's just so focused on high quality attacking. I'm not saying Newcastle, but Newcastle play a bit more on the counter attack. We open up a different avenue of attack for him. Yeah. And I think he can hit easily 30 plus, and then 30 plus goals opens up a whole different kind of worms for us in terms of the competitions and how far we can get, because we're going to be spending a lot of money. We're going to want to win we're going to want to win just more than the Premier League. We're going to want to win 2-3 trophies in a year. But we have to embrace that pressure as well. I think as a fan base and as a club, we have to embrace the fact that we spent a lot of money. We're going to be expecting to win these top honours. So let's go win these top honours. Let's not sit there and try and play this underdog card again. But I think it gets done. I think it's dragging on, and I wish it hadn't dragged on as long, because now we're going to have to give him a mini preseason in August or something, and that's going to be a whole shit show again. But I'm still leaning more so to the side of confidence than not, because I know this football club, they won't just back off a target after one bid, especially one that they rate that highly.
They will, and I think the thing is, from my perspective now, if Newcastle remain to be this stubborn now, the money's there clearly to go and acquire somebody of a top level. Would we be better served? And this goes back to the unfinished business point, and this is where the other clubs can come in as well now. Should we be looking at other potential areas where we could bolster the squad with really high quality and remain and leave Isak where he is? Would you see sense in that pot? So if I said to you now, Liverpool go and get Rodrigo, and they look to go and get a Wharton in midfield, say for example, and you can get those two players for the same money as you'd get an Alexander Isak, would you see more value in that for Liverpool to complete their transfer business?
Nah, because I think Endo and Gravenberch and Gakpo can all do a job. I think Isak is levels on Darwin Núñez, who is currently your striker, unless I'm mistaken. Of course, Ekitike is in as well, so I suppose you could say Ekitike, but he's levels on him as well. I don't know that Rodrigo, as much as I really like him, would be guaranteeing you the output that Gakpo got you. And that might be a crazy thing to say. And I like Rodrigo a lot. I want him. Gakpo was well underrated last season for what he did at Liverpool. His goals were unbelievable. And then you look at the scenario in Adam Wharton, I think he's an absolute baller. But is he guaranteed to be playing every game after Ryan Gravenberch last season was one of the best central defensive midfielders in the league? I don't know. Maybe one day he's going to be your future. But I think Isak takes you. I mean, I spoke to Roms about this, and I think Liverpool are going to win the league anyway, right? I've got you down as my favourites. I think you can start etching the name in the trophy if you sign Isak. That's like how much I believe. I know Hooks disagrees and thinks that there's still a lot to play for, and I still believe there's a long way to go. What I will say on kind of to caveat that a bit is I don't think Liverpool should just be Isak and you're done, because you clearly still need another centre-half. And I think he's the guy you want. I think you're probably going to need another attacker of some kind, because you've only really losing Jota, RIP, losing Núñez, who I believe is going to be sold. Diaz has gone. Harvey Elliott looks like he's going. That leaves you, if you correct me if I'm wrong, with Ekitike, Isak, if you get him, Salah, Gakpo, and that's it.
Rio and
the young kids, right? So you've got
on the planet
four attackers and young kids. Is that enough? Maybe. With the quality you've got, if they stay fit. But Salah drops and goes to the African Cup of Nations, and Isak stubs his toe again, and he's out for 6 weeks. And then you're relying on Ekitike. Is that enough to go win a league? Hopefully not. But I think you still might need more, which is crazy to say because you've already spent God knows how much. But this is what Liverpool are in, man, and I don't think they are complete yet either. But they've certainly by far had the best transfer window so far, man, and it leaves us having to catch up, bruv.
Well, while I've got you three,
we certainly need that centre back as well. Like, regardless of whether Isak comes in or not, you need that centre back. We can't go into the season with just Canate, Van Dijk, and Gomez. We need Gomez isn't reliable at the best of times. Canate similar. So we definitely need a centre back coming in who's of a first team level. That's why I really want the Mark Gahey stuff to come to fruition on the attack. But I think that other attacker we could kind of get away with if we don't get it, because we've got like Verts who can go out on the wing, or Soboslai can go out on the wing,
Frimpong can go up on
the right. Would you prioritise a centre back then, like a Gahey over a winger? Yeah.
The moment. I mean, even now, if we got to wait for Isak, this whole Isak saga is going to carry on. I think you just got to try and get Gahey in when you can, whether it's a waiting game for Crystal Palace to lower their asking price or whatever. I think that the opportunity that Mark Gahey presents, this is an England starter coming in for what, 35 million quid. That sounds weird to say. That's nothing in football nowadays for a player of the pedigree that he is. So if we can get that over the line, and what he gives to the team, someone who can play both left and right centre back, is very reliable in terms of his injury history as well. So I could trust him to be available if I need them to be available for a stretch of games. So I think that one has to happen as well. The window can't be done for us, regardless of if we get Isak or not. There has to be at least a centre back.
If you get Isak and a centre back like a Gahey, you're not taking a piss, man. I'm not going to lie, honestly. It's ridiculous. Stop what you're doing. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
I also think do think that there's a case where we just end up waiting for Isak. So let's say we come to
Well, that's what the
August.
chat's saying there. Now, a couple of people are saying we might wait till January. Keep Nunes till
January or next year.
Yeah.
It'll be very similar to what we've done in other situations. But it's very rare that a football club has the entire hierarchy agree on a target.
Yeah.
Seemingly, this football club has agreed on him.
If you wait, I think there's risk in that other clubs coming in. Then that's the thing.
Yeah. There is, but we might just be put in a position where we have to wait.
Yeah, and I understand Liverpool's magnificent club and huge club, but Barcelona will say goodbye to Lewandowski and they will come in for Isak.
Yeah.
And you can't afford him. They can't afford him. Barcelona haven't been able to afford anyone for God knows how long.
Still made signings.
And they still sign people. So if they want him that badly, is he going to pick Liverpool, Barcelona? I'm not sure. I think he'll probably go Barcelona unless he's absolutely dead set on Liverpool. But I think you got to get him now, man. I think you will.
PSG might even throw in there.
PSG, great shout.
If you decide to leave. But you know what, yeah? If you guys don't get Isak this summer,
there's nobody left, bro. There's nobody.
But do you know who's to blame? Liverpool. Because all you had to do was not sign Ekitike.
I don't think that's
all you had to do. Because if you don't sign Ekitike and Isak's putting this pressure on Newcastle and you're putting the pressure on Newcastle as well, they just go, okay, let's go grab Ekitike, and then maybe that frees up Isak for you, man.
The problem is that he's done that a week after we bought him. So the situation was at the time, we were under the assumption, we went in, that they moved for Ekitike. We went, listen, we'll go Newcastle then. Are you going to sell Isak? No? Okay, we'll have to move on to our next target. We didn't know that Isak was going to come and sit there and go, listen, I want out now. If he did, I wish he'd done that fucking earlier, so I wouldn't have to do all this. If we'd have made that clear much earlier, we could have avoided this whole saga.
Hey, I'm just saying, as far as I'm aware, and obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm only human after all, yeah. Ekitike only rejected Newcastle once Liverpool muscled in, big bad Liverpool, we want you as well now. If that never happened, he goes Newcastle. And then maybe you get Isak. So, hey, I'm just saying, because I know I'm on a Liverpool channel, before all the Liverpool fans start firing shots at me and trying to fry me, I do think you get Isak. I'm just saying, in the hypothetical that you don't get him, I think Liverpool have a lot of internal viewing to do on why they didn't secure a guy who, at this point, he's doing exactly the same thing that Gyökeres did. The exact same thing. He's pretty much the exact same thing. And, you know, Gyökeres got his move. So if Isak doesn't get him,
he's taking it from the Gyökeres' playbook. He might end up in a Liverpool shirt sooner than we think.
The way Newcastle have handled, especially the fan base, it's been hilarious to see how the Newcastle fans and Newcastle themselves have reacted. The timeline is basically they were angry at us for being interested in Isak. Then they were angry at us for not bidding for him. Then when we bid for him today, they were angry at us for bidding for him, and they told us to go do one. And now they're angry at us for following what they said and doing one. And they go, why are you doing that? You should be paying us what we want. Where do we stand with it? They don't know what they want. We don't know.
They're confused, Tom. They're frustrated, man. They're rattled.
They are rattled?
Yeah, they're losing their mind.
Rattled,
they have been for a couple of years, haven't they, Pops? Like, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
With Bruno and Isak, they've been exactly the same.
They were
you
like
talk
that with
about
us,
them,
Aaron. Yeah, they were screaming at us last season because we were linked with Isak. Oh, as if he would want to come to Arsenal. Bruno G, we had the same, like Aaron says, but now it's Liverpool. It's quite nice to have the heat off of us, I must say.
Yeah.
However,
I'm about to apply it. I'm applying to it.
Right?
Yeah, I'm about to apply that heat straight back onto you three in a minute anyway. So you roll with it for the set.
Do you think, though, Errol, just quickly here, do you think, and this to you and Tom, if you don't get Isak, which I think you will, but if you don't get Isak, is there a chance that this Liverpool window actually doesn't end up to be the dream you would expect? Because it's not just Isak. Is there a chance you could actually be left a little bit short in certain areas?
There is a chance. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that we're immune from that. But at the same time, I think Liverpool would have to pivot very quickly and get the priority areas wrapped up. I don't think Isak's a bit of a unicorn. I don't think there's another striker of that ilk in that bracket of that age with the profile he's got that Liverpool could say we can easily turn our attention to. We've got the upcomer in Ekitike now, but in terms of that established guy who's not a little bit past this peak, there's not that many. I'm struggling just off the top of my head to even think of anybody else that can really chat to Isak in that sense.
But do you not think, though, that you'll just use Ekitike as your striker and go and buy a Rodrigo or somebody like that on the left?
We could, but I don't think that's the priority. Like Tom was saying before, I think the priority would be getting a centre half in. There might be somebody to get somebody else in the midfield. The wide options, we might just have to say we've got fluidity in other players that can do the job. And how many times down the years has Liverpool just use players to do a job? We had James Milner doing left back duties as a deputy for Robbo at times because he could do the job. Situations like that happen at Liverpool and we make do. But in terms of having someone that is exactly the perfect fit, I don't see there being anybody else that can really lace up.
Because you could end up here, and this ain't meant to be a dig, because I genuinely do think you're going to have an unbelievable window. However, I look at it and I think Frimpong's a very good player, but he isn't an upgrade on Trent. Dashvili isn't an upgrade on Alisson. Kirkez is an upgrade on what you've got, and Wirtz is clearly an upgrade on what you've got. But Ekitike, I'm not sure.
He's an upgrade on what we've got. He's just not an upgrade of what we could have had potentially.
What you could have had. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, and then I don't know if if he does play on the left, like some people are saying, is he better than Luis Diaz? I don't really love Luis Diaz, but so I think as much as it's like wow, Liverpool, and I've been very guilty myself of going wow, I'm jealous. It might not be like, wow, Liverpool are going to go win a treble like we think if you don't get Isak. I think you should go and get Guehi, Wharton and Isak. I think we're done. Like everyone, pack your bags, it's done. Or even if it was Rodrigo, Isak on top of Wirtz and the guys, what you got. But maybe it might not end. I don't know, man.
To be in that Rodrigo race now, it's going to sound mad. I think Rio's kind of fucked up any plans for a left winger for the time being. Because we kind of need to have a pathway open for him because he's jumped ahead a lot further than I thought he had.
And that's what was promised to him as well if he put the work in.
How old is he then? 16?
17 at the end of this month. End of this month, yeah. Just before, obviously, we could do Liverpool to death tonight because of obviously the ongoing news that continues to break throughout the day. But I have got 3 Arsenal fans there chomping at the bit to talk about their club, obviously, as they always are. Lads, what happened midweek? I know it's only pre-season, but everything I hear from Arsenal fans is whenever we book Tottenham Hotspurs, it's never just a friendly. What's going on with Arsenal? And are they still big players away in priority positions from being ready to have? And it's not even about being ready to compete for the title, but are you ready to handle the pressure? Because best believe you're going to get the external pressure from all the other fans this year. And I imagine the pressure is going to intensify tenfold internally within Potter's already rage quit. He's already said, I'm done. I can't take no more. So I'll come to you, Adam, first, and I'll let you open on that. Are Arsenal ready for the pressure that is about to be applied to them, and have they got the squad that can handle it?
Well, simply no. And the reason why I say no is because 3 years we haven't been ready, and I still don't believe we have. Look, the reason why I say that is because Liverpool. I mean, you walked the league last year. Let's get it right. We finished 10 points behind you, but I mean, if you wanted to, it could have been 15 points in the last 5 games. You took the foot off the gas. You took the foot off the gas when you played us. If you wanted to, you'd have beat us 4-0 if you were going for the title at Anfield. I think that's probably fair to say after being 2-0 up. What we've done in the summer, I think we've made some smart business. Let's get it right. I'm not going to completely knock the window. We've brought 6 players in. The only real position that we've gone and done something in is a striker. The only problem that I have with a striker is whilst I'm absolutely buzzing to have him, let's get it right. I think we'd have all liked Isak. Well, it's like when you're on your lad's holiday or on a night out and you're trying to pull a baddie at the bar. Sometimes you wake up with a whale. Sometimes you just wake up still with a baddie, just not as good as that. And that's what Gyökeres is. He's not as good as Isak, but do you know what I mean? He's not a whale either. Do you know what I mean? You're not waking up in the morning.
He's a solid date. And let's be honest, in this world, we'd all take a solid date.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's what he is. I'm buzzing with. When you start then scaling back the other players, Zubimendi, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, he'll be all right but is he like a huge, massive upgrade on Thomas Partey? I would probably say no. Maybe he will be. We haven't seen him in an Arsenal shirt, so we don't know for definite. We see 5 years of Thomas in an Arsenal shirt, so we know there. And then I'll start looking back. Mosquera, cool. He's the intriguing one of the lot, really, to be fair, because he's 21, he's coming in. Could he be good? We don't know.
Could he be a next
We'll
Saliba?
look to him. You don't know. So he's an intriguing one, but Norgard, meh, is a so-so player. He's an El Neni. He's come in to do a job. And then you're looking around the other signings, your Keppers, it's whatever, 5 million backup keeper. And then I'm thinking, has that closed that 10-point gap to Liverpool? Maybe if Liverpool hadn't signed anyone in the summer, maybe, yeah. But the difference is you have, all right, you've replaced Trent. I think it was Potsy or I can't think which one said, is obviously not as good as Trent, but I think a very, very more than adequate backup replacement, rather, sorry. Considering the players that you're signing and could sign, I just think you've gone ahead of us again. I think you've pulled away from us and you're already 10 points ahead of us. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, what do we need to do as Arsenal Football Club to get back in there? Get Eze to replace Odegaard, not to replace Martinelli, by the way, to replace Odegaard. That number 10 needs freshening up, and Gyökeres needs a player who can actually thread a ball through to him regularly. God knows Odegaard ain't that man. And a Rodrigo, man, that's what I'd do. If you also ask me a question, Errol, mate, do I think Arsenal are going to challenge for the league this year? Currently, I'd say no. I think our ceiling would be third. I think Liverpool
Behind
and
who?
Behind
City?
Liverpool and Manchester.
You think City have done better business?
I'm not saying that they've done better business, but I'm saying they're better placed. They've got a better squad, and they've got a far, far, far better manager and a team that's been there and done it. And that makes a massive difference when I don't think Man City are light years ahead of us. I really don't. But they've got a team and a manager that know how to do it. And that they are light years ahead of us. Let's just get that absolutely right. In the last 4 or 5 years, they're stratospheres ahead of us. We ain't won anything. And they've won the lot numerous times by Europe. Do you know what I mean? It makes a big difference, that. So it's very frustrating. If you was to say to me, Aaron, I'll tell you what, you're going to get Rodrigo and Eze in there, I'd probably look at the season a little bit different. We've got one main problem, and the name's Mikel Arteta, by the way. That's a main problem. If you said to me we're going to go 4-2-3-1, do a little double pivot with Declan Rice, Zubimendi, have Eze as a 10, Rodrigo a left, Saka a right, and Gyökeres up top, I'm going, come on then, let's go. Let's have a go. Let's have a right go. But at the minute, it's the same old problems. And we see that. And I know it's only a preseason friendly. I really do. But it's not nice to lose to Spurs. It ain't, regardless of whether that is. And I'm just looking at that and I'm thinking, now's your chance to just give him at least 45 minutes, Victor Gyökeres. Arteta don't. He brings him on late 70s. He doesn't start Zubimendi. I'm sitting there and thinking, you're only 2 preseason games away from Manchester United, my old mucker. What are you playing at? You need to... get a new ethos, because the way you played last year ain't winning nothing. Let's just get that right. And I'll argue that till I'm blue in the face. If we play like that with any set of squad players, we ain't winning nothing, mate. Let's just get that absolutely right. So what does he do? He don't bring on his 2 best signings, and he plays the same way. Well done.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
You can't. I mean, folks might try, but
well, I was about to ask folks there the same question. I can send the same question to you, Hooks. Do you believe you're the full complement as it stands? And if you are the full complement, is this the year where you can handle the pressure?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see into the future. The only thing I know is
get it out then, Hooks.
All I know is we're one of the we're see, this is the thing, yeah. Like, everybody will slew Arsenal. Everybody will slew Mikel Arteta. Everybody will slew everything to do with Arsenal. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so dead. All of that. In my deadest season, yeah, in the last 3 years, I still finished second. I hear it. All the man that are like, oh, if it's first, it don't matter. I hear it. But there's still 18 teams worse than me. Yeah. Now, the 22-23 season, the 23-24 season, everybody said to me, yeah, if Arsenal had a striker, they win the league. I've gone and got one of, and if not, statistically, the best striker in world football last season. I went and got that. Yeah. So now I've solved arguably the biggest problem. Some will say the manager, but to me, having a striker, the biggest problem over the last 5 years. Cool. Say I bring in Eze, because this is who I need to bring in. I feel like Eze is a player that transforms Arsenal. Wherever you play him, whether you play him on the left, whether you play him in the 10. whether Arteta decides to do something crazy and potentially play him in the 8. I feel like wherever you play Eze in Arsenal, he transforms Arsenal because he's a player that has a different mindset to a lot of the players that are already there. A lot of the players that are already there, they're not really players that you give the ball when they go and do individual magic. They don't try and do things alone. They try and do things within the system. He's someone that breaks out of that mold. Gyökeres is someone that breaks out of that.
Is that a result, though? But is that a direct result of what they've been taught to do or been told and instruction-wise been told?
It's instruction. It's therefore instruction. It's 100%.
So what's to say that Eze doesn't come then and within 6 months he then becomes the robot that Saka's become?
Hey, maybe he does. Maybe he does. But I'm looking at the fact that Arsenal are trying to sign players that can do things on their own and don't need to rely on who's around them as some sort of like there may be a change. This is the way that I'm viewing it. But even at the bare basis of everything, I still finished second last season in a season where every single Arsenal fan and rival will say that Arsenal was bad. Yeah.
But you don't think there was other teams around you that fell off?
Deep it. Yeah. Everybody will talk about Arsenal being bad. Yeah. Everybody talks about Man City dropping off. Nobody talks about Arsenal dropping off. That was our drop off. We had a bad season. Like, look, I don't want to do the top gooner thing, but at some point you got to call a spade a spade. We had 28 injuries. I'm not gonna have 28 injuries next season.
Okay,
that's an anomaly.
Do you think City are going to be in the same boat? Do you think the way that City, Chelsea, definitely not Newcastle, but there'll be other teams there that have closed 100%. That gap to yourselves in any
100%. Like, I'm not, me personally, I'm looking more at Chelsea than Manchester City.
I agree with you there.
To be completely honest, I'm looking more at Chelsea than Manchester City. Like, in my personal opinion, as it stands right now, I've got like Liverpool as clear favourites, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, it's all a toss of a coin, really. Like, it's really all a toss of a coin. Like, I don't like, is Arsenal going to finish second? I don't know. Is Chelsea going to finish second? I don't know. Will it be Man City? Who knows? Possibly. Like, maybe Tottenham might even find themselves somewhere in the mix. Maybe even Manchester United. Like, there's teams that confront. Maybe Newcastle. Maybe we're all looking at the business that Newcastle are doing, and we're highly underrating them. And maybe
are we disregarding Spurs altogether? I know you're Arsenal fans. That's kind of your job to do. But they did just beat us a couple of days ago.
Doesn't matter.
I feel like you can be quite balanced. Obviously, I know Hooks likes to obviously have a positive spin sometimes, and I know Aaron likes to be very critical of some of the stuff that happens within the Arsenal sphere. You sit there, you speak to these lads on a regular basis. When you deep it, bro, how far away are you? Or have the teams around you close the gap so it becomes anybody's guess?
I think Chelsea's closed the gap. Quite, like, I think Chelsea are like, with Chelsea, you can see like clear like identity. Like, and to me, that's why they're scary, because all of the players that they're signing are fitting into what they're actually trying to do. And they're adding quality that I can look at and be like, oh, when these men are all on the pitch, it's gonna be crazy. They're gonna ball out. Like, they're the English PSG. That's the way that I'm viewing them. They're the English PSG. That's the way that I'm seeing.
That's Chelsea. High praise, that, dog.
Yeah, Chelsea are doing a lot. Like, Chelsea are doing a lot. Can't disrespect them. It's annoying, but they're doing. They had a process. They decided it 2-3 years ago. We're cool. We're gonna do a process, and they just fully put the money in, kept on buying players till it worked, and now they're reaping the rewards. That just is what it is, right? But Manchester City, me personally, this is my personal opinion. Yeah, I think Rodri coming back is going to be big for them, so they're going to have a better season. I think Haaland is definitely going to have a better season than what he had last season. But outside of that, like, I don't know, their defense is still, I don't know, And if they dare play this James Trafford guy first team next season,
no, he's not first team.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Ederson looked a bit shaky last season. Like, a lot of their Kevin De Bruyne's left. Like, a lot of what we know kind of Manchester City to be, that's like, a lot of that's gone. It's like
That's on
gone
as well.
or it's aging away.
Yeah.
So they're in a rebuild. I don't know. Me personally, I think it's a bit naive to think like what they've done over the summer will now immediately take them to win
To
the
that
league
level.
again.
No,
Like, I don't think that's the case. Like, and I feel like when I feel like teams around them are also doing a lot as well. I feel like when Man City was first building their team, I don't think too many teams were putting as much investment into their team as they was at the same time. So they kind of went a bit clear. Now everybody's putting money into their team. So me personally, and hey, I'm only human after all. You know, I can be wrong. This is my personal opinion, not stating it as a fact. Yeah. I don't think that they're really going to be swinging for number one. They'll be in and around, but they're not going to, I don't know. To me, it's Liverpool at the moment. And Chelsea, Arsenal going to have to do a lot to kind of pull that kind of Premier League trophy away from you.
All right. And what about you, Potts, then? You paid two sides of the Arsenal fence. Where do you sit with it all?
Yeah, I think Aaron, I'm more understanding of where he comes from in terms of the manager getting across the line. We haven't done that yet. I think that's massively important. And I do feel like the style of play over the last 18 months, it doesn't matter if you've got Mbappe and Haaland, we ain't winning shit doing that. So for me, I think that's got to improve. But other than that, in terms of player personnel, Eze and Rodrigo, I think are the two that I would want coming in now. I think if Liverpool...
Are they realistic targets, lad?
I think one of them definitely is in Eze. I'm not sure about Rodrigo. I don't even know if he wants to leave Real Madrid, if I'm honest with you. But if he does, I think Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, I think they'll all be interested. And then it's going to be about who wants him the most. And I think Arsenal were the team that need him the most, if I'm honest, out of those. So
but even
that's
Liao,
what I would say.
Even Liao. Like, okay, so my thing is, we just need someone, Chaos, who's better than
You've got
Martinelli
that, though.
and
You've
Trossard.
just told that. Nonny Madueke on the left.
Hey,
Nah,
I hear it.
Tom's a joker,
I hear
mate.
it.
Tom's
I hear it. I hear it. But then that's like, I'm just saying, cool. Rodrigo's nice. Well, that's like cool dream. But just if we don't get the dream, someone like Liao is fine because Liao is still better than Martinelli and Trossard. Like, we need someone on the left wing that's different to what we have at the moment.
Well, Ben Jacobs has apparently tweeted that Arsenal want Eze in the 10 and they are going for a left winger as well. So Trossard's going to go. Obviously, we've got a few other players that are going to get out the door. I don't know who that left winger is. I don't know if it's going to be an Anthony Gordon. I don't know if it's going to be a Rodrigo. I don't know if it's going to be like a Morgan Rogers. We've been linked with so many, right? So for me, I think we get both of them. Where I am in terms of where Arsenal are and how far off we are right now, I don't think we are far off. I've got to be realistic. We bring in those two, we should win a trophy. Whether it's a Premier League, Champions League, or domestic cup, we should win a trophy. In fact, I think our squad's good enough now to win a trophy. I just don't know that the manager's got the know-how yet to get us across the line. That's my big question mark. And if I would have sacked him already, but if he doesn't this season, I think most of the Arteta inners, if they still exist or still call themselves that, will probably believe that it's time for a change as well, right? So that's where I'm at. And lastly, I think Chelsea, I think, have improved massively. I don't think they're going to improve to go for a title. I don't. I could be wrong. I think they're going to be top for the first 6 games. I think they'll be top looking at their fixtures. It looks like they've got an easy start compared to everybody else. I think they'll be top of the league, and I think they'll drift off similarly to last season. At the moment, that's where I see it. If things could change, they go and buy Donnarumma in goal. They go and get a proper couple of centre-halves. They go and look at a left winger that's scary and a striker that goes, wow, that's 30 goals. I think Chelsea are in a massive, massive chance of winning the league. As for Liverpool, they're favourites. Manchester City defensively, not at the moment for me to win it. I still have them falling short. And I think for Arsenal, likewise, I still don't know that we've got the know-how. Other than that, Villa, Newcastle, and I have to say Tottenham, I think will be in and around that top 6 fight. Thomas Frank will not be like Ange. He will have them well hard to beat. Tottenham will be a very hard side to beat next season, trust me, because of the way they are drilled, the way they set up now. And Villa and Newcastle, I still think have enough individual quality in their team to be in and around the mix as well. But none of those I don't see in a title race. At the moment, as things stand, I have it Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Well, the one team that we've neglected to mention, a man like Sheik, I know you've been very patient there, brother, so I am going to bring you in right now. You've got a lot of business to do, and I don't think the way that you operate, you're going to be able to get the volume of players in that you need. But if you've had to lock off 2 priority positions, I think it's clear that it's probably a goalkeeper and a striker. in the event that you get the players that you need in, how far can you climb up the table realistically next season, lad?
It's a good question. The reality is that you have to look at, like, this is crazy for me to say, you have to look at teams like Brentford, Brighton, Forest, these type of clubs, because those are the clubs that we massively struggled against last season. Couldn't win back-to-back games, all those type of conversations that we've already had. I think the length that we could go to in terms of the league table is probably, I'd say at most like 7th or 8th. I still think the teams above that we've just mentioned, like, Aston Villa, like Villa, Newcastle, some of these teams might still on the day be better than us in terms of where they are as a club right now too. We've needed a complete reset for a while now. I still don't think these two signings that we've gotten in are like well prepared for us going into the season. We still need a midfielder, we still need a striker, we still need a goalkeeper. The Sesko news that we just heard that we're prioritizing him over Watkins. I mean, I don't really necessarily rate Sesko that highly as a player. If he does join the club, though, I will back him. And it's like, okay, here we go with this new striker, and we're putting, quality players around him. So let's see what we can do. I would have still preferred someone like a Watkins, but we're looking to make deals happen. It's like the striker department looks like that's what they're prioritizing on. Now, how this whole Mbeumo deal just went, I would hope and pray that it doesn't take this long again, because then we're going to sit there at the end of the window neglecting two other positions that we needed to get in. Midfielder links haven't really been there. To be honest, I haven't heard of any names notable that I would be like, okay, yeah, I would be okay with signing them. Maybe there's a shout of like a Douglas Luiz, but that's about it, because he made it known that he doesn't want to play at Juventus anymore. Goalkeeper, we've been linked with this goalkeeper from Belgium. His name's Lamens. I haven't watched in too much, to be honest. But listen, anyone over Andre Onana currently at this moment.
Would you fight Chelsea for Donnarumma?
Yeah, I think of course, like in our situation, if Donnarumma is available for you to actually go out there and put out a concrete offer and try to get him, then of course we should. Now I would ask him, because why would
big wages and no Champions League? It's going to be
I
hard.
think it'll be the ambition for him. He's just won the Champions League, and he's going to go to playing no Champions League. So I think that's like
crazy.
That's a big thing, of course, for even anyone as a player. But I don't think, for that reason itself, I don't think he would join us. Even if we try to make an offer to try to get Donnarumma, it's fine. If we're not able to get someone like Donnarumma, again, it's just improving position by position. And currently, right now, we're in the depths. Like, we're 15th. There's a lot of goalkeepers out there who could probably do a better job than Andre Onana currently at this moment. So try to go get them. Emi Martinez has been a name that's been thrown around quite a lot. I don't know. We've been in and around Villa transfer news quite a lot, because there's been rumors of them trying to get Garnacho, Rashford originally before he went to Barcelona. We've been linked with Watkins. We've been linked with Martinez. So I don't know what's really quite going on over there in terms of transfers with Villa. But
are you confident that Amorim's going to get back though this season? If the players don't come in, they're still going to allow him the time to work those players. Big up man like Hooks as well. Big up.
I think big up to Hooks. I think maybe we miss out on one of these positions. Maybe. I think definitely there's a reality where we do miss out on one of them, whether it's a goalkeeper, whether it's a midfielder, striker. I think
I'm sending everyone everywhere there. Sorry, lad.
That'll do, isn't it? Hopefully there's a prize at the end of it.
But yeah, like I think maybe we do miss out on one of the positions. I think striker we do end up getting. Is going to really annoy me as well. I think somehow and then we miss out on the midfielder, because we just haven't been linked to any midfielders at all. The fact that they've stuck with Bruno Fernandes and we didn't, take that 100 million offer from Saudi, that's a position. He's locked into that position in the midfield. Maybe they're just thinking that it's good enough for them. I don't think it's anywhere near good enough starting off the season with just Ugarte, Casemiro, and Bruno in your pivot. Maybe we do miss out on that position, but those two are still not good enough for me to say that we've backed them. I think we needed all these three positions for sure: a goalkeeper, a striker, and a midfielder for Amorim currently at this moment. But with these three players in, I think we can push to 7th or 8th. We're playing one game a week. We don't really have to rotate the squad as much as we were trying to last year with the Europe. I still think there should be some sort of improvement from the squad, and maybe there will be a little bit of improvement from the manager himself and then just the players too. So I think all that maybe mixed together could probably put us about 7th or 8th if we do end up getting those three positions. Anything less than that, then I think top 10 is probably the most that we could achieve, because I still think we're going to struggle in a lot of those areas that we maybe miss out on. So,
well, lads, I feel like we all kind of dismiss Manchester United at the moment, and understandably so. They finished 15th. They've lost the European Cup final, the Europa League last season. They've seemed to really underperform so far in this transfer market. They've identified 2 players that are both 10s that probably from the outside looking in may not have been, priority signings. They've paid big money for them. Do you think that they're going to have a repeat of last season, or do you think they can at least start to kick on now? Obviously, we're trying to offer some encouragement for our fellow cartel member in here, and I'm trying to be kind the way I word it. But they're in the mud still, aren't they?
They're going to score more goals, Errol. They're going to score more goals with Cunha and Mbeumo, right? That's what they're going to do. If they get Sesko or Watkins, they're going to score more goals than Højlund. So they are going to improve. What I will say, though, is I think they're going to play trick or treat at Halloween. I really do. And I think that trick or treat is going to be Ruben Amorim. Is he the guy that we believe is, this brilliant, well-placed, tactically gifted manager, or is he just a little bit better than Ten Hag, if not worse? Because he's made them worse. Let's just say it how it is. Ten Hag, I thought, was awful.
To this point,
they're worse now than they were under Ten Hag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to play trick or treat at October at Halloween and say, right, do we get rid of this guy, or do we go and get somebody else? The problem they've got is they're going to fund a load of Ruben Amorim players, just like they funded a load of Ten Hag players, and then sack and get somebody else in and say, now you go and get your players, and we'll wait another year, and it goes round again. So Man United have just got to sort this out from the top. And I'm looking at this new structure in Jim, what's his name? Jim Ratcliffe. And obviously you've got the likes of Wilcox, you've got the likes of Barada, you've got the likes of now these next level kind of structured men that know what they're doing at football, apparently. Yeah, let them do it then. And they've got to improve, because the Glazers are laughing right now. Let me tell you this, because they get
all heat's off them.
It's Ineos now. It's not the Glazers. It's Ineos now, and they're laughing, man. They're like, these guys think it's not our fault anymore. It's Ineos. We'll sit back and chill. This is lovely. 100%. And Man United, the fans are now going, it's that Jim guy now. We'll have a go at him. Like, come on, man. Like Man United. Let me tell you this. Growing up, they destroyed my childhood. Destroyed my childhood. Now look,
the mad thing is, Ineos have paid for the privilege to be the shield for the Glazers.
Facts. This is the thing.
Paid for the privilege.
Jim Ratcliffe has said, I'll sort this out. Come here, I'll be your shield. I'll sort it out. What is going on? Like, real talk, it's a madness. And there's a lot that's wrong at Manchester United in terms of culture, toxicity. And I think, if I'm honest, there's been a lot of footballing men that have got into that football club and have told them the truth. And a lot of the fans have gone, la, it's their fault. They're talking rubbish. Actually, they were spot on. Jose Mourinho was spot on. Ralph Rangnick was spot on. All these guys said, this is a toxic club. No, it's not. It's you. You're the problem. Get out. Jose said, Van Gaal get second Van Gaal, even though he done a culture, to be fair. Like,
finishing second was one of his best achievements.
Do you know what as well? Go on, sorry, Dad.
No, go on, Aaron.
From like the outside looking in as well, as I'm a little bit disappointed with their coach. Do you know that? Because all right, I come in and he's got a specific set of way of playing, right? That's fine. And he said, these ain't my players. All right, cool. Well, what's the point in giving your ethos in management and playing style to these players? And if you're going to get rid of them, why don't you play a bit more pragmatic? And to be fair,
because that's what United that was what happened with the last manager. So Ten Hag came in when, fuck, these players can't play what I want to play. Let me go pragmatic. And then couldn't get himself out of that rot. And United fans for the final 2 years of Ten Hag were going, we didn't bring you in to play shit counter-attacking football. We brought you in to play this Ajax style of play. So now I think Amorim went the other way and went, I am never moving from my style of football no matter what.
Get me the players I need to play.
It's cost them, though, isn't it? And the thing is, what Dan was saying as well about sticking a twist, I'll make him absolutely spot on. Because if they are going to stick with him, they have to then give him time. They have to give him the players that he needs. And obviously, easier said than done. You're still Manchester United. You're still going to attract the larger part of the players. You know what I mean? Champions League football is a little bit damaging. But that aside of a player that probably expects to win it, or
but Mbeumo still chose to go to. He still chose to go to United over Newcastle, and Newcastle could offer him the Champions League. So your point's right. You're 100% right.
The difference, the thing is as well with that as well. I think like if you was a player that was competing already for the Champions League, you wouldn't want to go there. Like a Donnarumma, I think that point was made already. Why almost would you leave a winning team to go and not compete in it? So that's the Achilles heel that they found themselves in Manchester United. that they've actually cost themselves. That's all self-inflicted, by the way. No one's giving any sympathy for that. That's your own doing. And to be fair, like Dan said, they've killed my childhood, mate. I'm quite glad to see them where they are. If I'm being totally honest, from a rival fan's perspective. But yeah, I just sit and look at Manchester United and I just think, how are they going to get out of this? Because I remember a few years ago, you know, it's like, oh yeah, we're having this big rebuild now. And even after 2 or 3 years, they've just found themselves in a deeper hole. And I'm thinking, all right, cool. Well, are they going to go again now with a new rebuild and just find themselves an even more, a deeper hole's relegation from last season? I mean, let's actually get it right. That's how poor they were in the league. It was borderline embarrassing. I just can't believe where Manchester United are, honestly. And I'm not sat here on my high horse because I support a team that don't win anything either. At least they've actually won something. But it's Manchester United. They're one of, if not the biggest club in the world. It's madness to see where they are. It's madness to see how poorly they've run. The signings that they're making, like what Dan said, with the strikers, they will score a lot of goals next year, but their problems run so much more deeper than an inability to score goals.
United's problems the midfield. I've got to be honest, Sheik. The more I look at United, the more I see there's just a hard cap on what they do with their midfield setup. The midfield's the most important part of the pitch. And you're going to genuinely go into next season and play Premier League games against 3-man midfields. With a pivot that has Bruno Fernandes alongside Casemiro. That's someone who can't defend and someone who can defend but can't run. It's never going to work. So United might score 2 goals a game, and Buemo could well go on and bag 20 goals. Cunha 15. Whoever they buy up front could get 15, and United will lose 4-3 because they will get ran through worse than they ever have before. Because when it's a 3-man midfield, at least you've got the bodies there. They don't even have the bodies there now to outmatch. When you go into a numerical disadvantage in midfield, you need to have engines there to make up for it. You need to have guys who can run for 2 people, so it doesn't feel like you're missing anyone. Yeah. You've got a guy there who can't run for 1 person, let alone 2, and the other one who can't defend for 1 person, let alone 2. And then it would be somewhat sort of, you know, we can get away with it if we've got rock solid back 3 and wing backs I can rely on. Your right wing back's a winger. Your left wing back, promising, not great defensively from what I see. And your defence, your goalkeeper's shite, but we all knew that. Your defence, I'm seeing pretty much every United fan put an 18-year-old in your back line that isn't Lenny Yoro. You're going to be playing, for all accounts, it's Aiden Heaven, Lenny Yoro, and De Ligt. That defense will get cut apart by any team with a decent attack because there's no know-how there. There's no quality there. There's
leadership at that back.
There's nothing there. So your attack looks promising. I was a big fan of Cunha. I was a big fan of Mbuemo. But the fact is, it's actually utterly irrelevant what you do up there if the rest of your team is structured and bodied so poorly. You'll get killed. If we go up against you, I'm worried that you might score 1. But I'm sitting there going, Wirtz, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai up against Fernandes and Casemiro in the midfield. Done. Salah, Ekitike, Gakpo, Wirtz running at your back 3, curtains. I'm so confident because it's too weak. It's too soft. It's not gonna sit there and win the battles it needs to win.
Yeah,
I think that's
100%. I was just gonna say.
You can respond to that, bro.
The problems are definitely still there. Like past these, yes, we won 4-1 against Bournemouth in preseason, and we beat West Ham 2-1 in the preseason game too. But it's the same thing. We still struggle to play out from the back. We still struggle to move the ball forward from the defensive line to the midfield. We are still struggling with things like that. We're still struggling to try to progress our ball to our forwards and try to create something in the final third. The 4-1, there was a couple of mistakes here and there against Bournemouth, and good play from Dorgu, I think, on one of the goals, and he assisted one as well. The rest were like after we already made a couple of changes, and the problems are still there. But like I completely agree with Tom. Our midfield is a big talking point. I just feel like people don't talk about it enough because we're going to go up against a majority of 3-man midfields, and all of these 3-man midfields are physical, very physical in the Premier League. They're good to a technical level. You're talking about, Caicedos and Lavias and Enzos and Wirtz and, McAllister and all these Rice, Zubimendi, all these players. And I just don't think with whoever we have, we don't stand a chance at all. We're going to get ran through that midfield the whole time. There's just going to be us getting hurt on transitional play from time and time again. Teams are adding strikers and wingers that can hurt us. and that's just exactly how it's going to be. We might score 3, but the opponent might score 4, and they might score before us.
Do you think you've made a bit of a mistake keeping old Fernandez and not selling him for big dough when you had that offer and building off of that? Yeah.
100%. I think a lot of our other deals get done. We've only done 2 deals so far, but I think Mbeumo gets done quicker. It doesn't probably take as long as it did in terms of how much money we wanted to spend, all of that, because we ended up caving in anyways for that deal. So we would have probably spent that money quicker.
You actually paid more than they asked for. They asked for 17, you paid 71.
You basically got more resources to throw at replacements than in your
all that negotiating didn't negotiate, I guess, but all that time. But we would have probably gotten that deal done early, which means that we have more money to spend on for other positions. And another thing I want also just quickly mention is everyone's been saying how we've been on this sell to buy. I don't quite get it, because how have we proposed a financial offer to Leipzig and to Sesko for trying to sign him if we are on this whole sell to buy thing? I don't get that. But do we have money? Do we not have money? Like, what is actually the situation? I've always firmly thought that we have money. We're Manchester United Football Club. Like, we're going to pinch out money from somewhere, but we have money, whether it's installments, whether it's this and that. But how have you proposed a financial offer to a player if you don't have the funds available for that transfer anyways? So I don't know what happens, but that midfield, just for Tom's point, like we have to get someone in that midfield. I'd get that midfielder first before a striker, before a goalkeeper. I would get that midfielder first.
You've definitely got to address it, but I think one thing we could all probably agree on is we could make a special allowance for Manchester United to have the transfer window open for the whole season, and I still think we'd have the same conversation come the 1st of August 2026 that
the window needs to shut, otherwise they will just keep making the mistakes.
They
need to be told. They need to be told there's a time where you cannot do these things.
Yeah, true, but I don't think they'd still be in the same position. But guys, we have run out of time. I am going to let this panel go. It has been another great show. Thank you very much for joining, guys. I haven't even mentioned, just drop a like on the stream for us tonight. Do some admin before you go and watch your next YouTube video or get on with your Friday night. I hope you've enjoyed it, lads. Dead quickly, just shout out your channels, let people know where they can find you, and then we will hop off. But thank you all for tuning into the Red Cartel. I've been your host, Errol. Red Men back on Monday with some watch-alongs, and I'll let these lads plug their channels, and then we will head out. Hope you enjoy your weekend, people. Pots, talk to the people then.
Football's 12th man, Dan Arsenal 87 on socials. And I'm on TikTok now, trying to get some regular stuff on that. I'm not really a TikToker, but if you can come follow me on TikTok, that'd be cool. Dan Arsenal 87.
We're getting all the dances and everything.
Huh?
We're getting all the dances and everything.
Everything, bro.
All of this business. Yeah.
I've got to wait for it first time, man. But yeah, man, that's me. So big up, man.
Love that. What about yourself, Adam? Let people know where they can find some of your content, where you're up to.
Yeah, man. I'm Aaron Talks Arsenal, and I'm on with one of your boys, Jamie Phillips, in about 20 minutes, half hour. I've got him on to have a little chat about Isak and Arsenal and Liverpool in general. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for having me on, Errol. And always a pleasure to share a screen with you boys as well. Dan, Tom, come on, man. Every time. Big up to the chat as well. Smash a like on the stream, man. Come on.
Appreciate it every single time. Sheik, let people know where they can find some of your content.
Yeah, man, same thing. Thank you for having me on. Shout out to Errol. Shout out to the lovely panelists as well. Big up to the chat. Make sure you guys are running up the likes and subscribing. You guys can find me on Sheik TV. We're on the road to 1K. I think I'm less than 30 subscribers away from 1K. So we're about to get there very soon.
Come on, show some love, people. Show some love.
Thank you. Big up to everyone, and thank you for having me on, Errol. Big up.
Appreciate it. And finally, Tom Little, Liverpool through and through. Let people know what the drill is, lad.
Tom Little with a 1 on YouTube and Twitter. I'll do something when we get something on Isak. How about that? When we get through all this sifting the shit of will we, won't we with Isak, when I know where we stand on it, I'll do something on that.
Sounds good. Well, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. If you're up north near Scotland, enjoy your bank holiday as well, you jammy bastards. Got to wait till the end of the month before we get ours. And Sheik, I hope you enjoy the state side of things, and we will catch you next week for another Red Cartel. Over and out.
Sweet, man.